So there is a difference between being a parrot and repeating the things that other people are speaking on all the YouTube videos and all the other content that you are watching over maybe Reddit or maybe any other forum, and maybe actually using a device and giving a review that is a very genuine one and the one that the device actually deserves. And that is exactly what is happening with this all new Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra as well, because a lot of people are reviewing this smartphone and the reviews are all about that what this device does not have versus what this device is actually capable of. And maybe I think so because a lot of other YouTubers, they are looking at this device at a very high level perspective. And if you just look at this device from a general perspective of a person who might be daily using this device, just a common man just like you and me, you might have a different opinion about this device altogether. And that is exactly what I wanted to cover in this video, because I was going through a few comments on the other videos where I was able to see the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra and the other forms, and even I got a comment on one of my videos about the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, and all I could see was that people were comparing this device with the all new OnePlus 13 and the other Chinese smartphones that we have got in the market. And that is exactly that what I would talk about in this video, rather than talking about the things like the specifications on this device, because that is one thing that I've already spoken about in a lot of different videos. So yes, this is particularly about the comments that I can see on the other videos. Now the number one thing that a lot of people are talking about is that this smartphone does not have any kind of a silicon carbide technology inside of this smartphone. And when I look at all those comments, I'm just surprised to see, because there are so many other smartphones in the market, the ones from the Googles, the Apples, those does not have a similar technology as well. But not a lot of people are complaining about the silicon carbide tech being missing on the Google smartphone or the Apple smartphone. But I think so because a lot of people are really counting on the Samsung smartphones to bring the best of the technology in these smartphones. I think so they might be expecting this technology inside of the smartphone, but the reason is that because this is a very new technology and Samsung is one brand who was already prone to the things like the swollen batteries and the batteries being exploding in the hands or on the thighs, in the pants, and so much so they might not be the first one to bring this technology to the smartphone. They might rather wait for a bit and see that what are the results, do years of R&D on this technology before bringing this thing to a mass market, because that is the reality. The Samsung smartphones and the Apple smartphones and even the Google smartphones are the ones that are meant for the mass markets versus all the Chinese manufacturers like the OnePlus smartphones, maybe the Nubia smartphones, or maybe the Vivos and the Oppos. Those are much more of the smartphones that are much more available in the South Asian market, or maybe the Southeast market, or I would say the Southeast Asian market to be very specific, but not something that is very popular in the North American market. And these are the smartphones, the Samsung and the Googles. Those are basically the mass market ones, because you can get the Samsung smartphones in Korea, in China, in India, in Russia, and probably almost every part of the world. These smartphones cater to a mass market, and Samsung would never want to bring a technology and risk the reputation of their company and bring some technology that does not have a lot of R&D that is being done on that and make the things a bit more worse than what they already had in the past. So you got the point. Samsung does not have a better charging technology just because they do not want you to suffer from the swollen battery issues or maybe the batteries being exploded. And another thing is that people say that they does not have the fastest charging in the world, and yes, I do agree with that. But the reason again is that when you have faster charging on these batteries, those are not the silicon carbide batteries. They are more prone to losing the battery health on the smartphone a bit more faster than what you would have something that what already the Samsung devices have, or maybe the Google devices have. So this is one thing that you need to consider before considering that Samsung has not brought the latest technology in the market. Now the second thing that a lot of people are speaking in their videos is that these smartphones, they do not have PWM dimming on the displays, and again I agree, but I do not know where do all this information is coming from on these new YouTube videos or maybe the forms, because the reality is that the PWM dimming is something that is great, but it does not have any kind of scientific reason or maybe a scientific result that proves that including a higher refresh rate in the PWM dimming, it does help with a bit of headaches or stuff, or maybe if it does, the percentage of this technology actually helping a lot of people with things like headaches while using this smartphone is actually very less. And I always say if you get a lot of headaches while using the smartphones, you better not use the smartphone a lot, rather than having a technology like a higher refresh rate on the PWM dimming, that might help a very few number of people to start with. So something that I think so Samsung might have already considered, because bringing all these technologies, they do bring up the price of the smartphone to a bit on the higher side, and that is not because of the physical component, that is because of a lot of R&D that goes into this technology to be able to be delivered. Might be in few years, because R&D is already completed and done, you might be able to get a similar technology from the same brand at a cheaper price. But initially building upon a technology that does not have a lot of benefits, I think so that is not something that Samsung might want to do. Now the next thing that a lot of people are complaining about is the speed on this all new Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra with this all new Snapdragon 8 Elite processor. Again, a lot of other brands have also got the similar chipset like the OnePlus 13 and a lot of other ones from the Vivos and the Oppos and even the latest one from Nubia. And I get it, the benchmarks and the scores that you get on all the other smartphones are a bit more better than what you get on the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra. And also someone in my comment section, he commented that there was a stress test that was done on the smartphone that OnePlus 13 was able to complete with no hiccups, and the same test when they did on the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, it was not able to perform well. But I do not know exactly that what was the stress test that this person was referring to in his comment. But again, one thing that I wanted to mention over here is that it does not matter that if there is a stress test that one device is able to perform well and the other one do not. I think so it is all up to the optimization of the UI and the way that an application is designed for a particular smartphone versus the one that might not be good for the other one. I did a similar test on the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra versus my iPhone 16 Pro Max, and all I did was that I took a 40-minute long video, I put it into the Beauty Plus application on both of these smartphones, and I did a beautification filter on both of these devices, and again Samsung was able to perform the test and not the iPhone 16 Pro Max. But that does not mean that the processor on the iPhone 16 Pro Max is a bad one, but all it means is that the optimization for that particular application on the iOS 18.2 was not very much optimized for the iPhone versus what I was able to do on the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra. So yes, the stress test could not be something that we can really judge a smartphone upon, because all these chips are almost the similar ones. Might be one of them might have a better solution for the thermal cooling, or might be the other one might be a bit more overclocked. But at last I think so that the day-to-day performance should not matter a lot, and these are just the numbers that you're getting on the benchmark test or something, and does not really reflect to the real life performance on any device. Now another thing that I do see in a lot of my comments is that the Samsung smartphones are not the ones that are best in the terms of giving you the fastest updates, and that is what you're seeing on the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra from the last year. And you have already got the latest One UI on the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra. That is good, because it was when this device was launched, it was supposed to be on the latest software. But the thing is that a lot of people again do not realize that the new smartphones, they do get a lot of AI features, and if you really think about that, the Samsung smartphones are probably the only one that are best of the Google smartphones, along with the Samsung AI features that are developed very well on this device. In fact, my iPhone 16 Pro Max, I have been using it from a long time, and that does not even have the latest Siri integration on these devices. And again, the Siri is there and it is an updated Siri, but it is not combined with the large language models that were supposed to be there on these devices, and it is still delayed after, I would say, about 5 to 6 months of the release of the device. That is one thing that might be shocking, and that is an Apple smartphone, and expecting a similar thing from Samsung is one thing that might be not a good thing. I know that the updates are delayed, and I still think so that a lot of regions are now starting to see the One UI 7 update on the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra, so it is worth waiting than getting the features that are not fully baked, and that might give a lot of hiccups on the device. And Samsung is really one company that is on top of it, and trust me, they are really on top of it, because it takes a lot of money to develop the AI features, and specifically because they are giving these features for free as of now. I think that it is a win-win for at least you guys over here. So yes, stop complaining the Samsung devices and stop thinking about that what are the real facts, and just do not be a parrot and looking at the things that you already read on the other forums, or maybe you are watching a lot of other YouTube videos, and start commenting on a device that is actually a very good one. And in fact, I think so that the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra is a better deal than something like the OnePlus 13, because let us say that you want to upgrade to a new device the next year. I think so Samsung is one of the only brands that does give you a lot of value to your devices, because I just swapped in my Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 6 with this one, and all I had to pay was about 1,000 Canadian dollars to buy this device, including the taxes. So I think so that it was a win-win for me to buy this device, and I could just upgrade with no hassles at all. And if you want to do the very same thing with the OnePlus smartphone, I think so they tend to lose the value a bit more faster than all the other smartphones like the Samsungs and the Googles and the OnePlus of the world. I think so the Google smartphones might not also have a very good resale value as well, but the fact is that when you look at the king of the Android smartphones, the one that is very much capable of the mass market is only the Samsung brand as of right now. I think so OnePlus is doing really well, and I do like the price to value ratio of the devices that what you're getting out of the OnePlus smartphones. But again, I think so that the only thing that is lacking on the OnePlus smartphones is really the camera. They did try to fix it. They did try to also bring the Hasselblad branding to their smartphones as well, but again they are not as much good as what you're getting on the Samsung smartphones. And on top of that, yes, the OnePlus smartphones, they do have a lot of AI going on the new smartphones, but they are not even a close match to what you already have on the Samsung smartphones, because again the Samsung AI combined with what you have in Gemini and all the other Google features, I think so it does make a lot of sense to pick something like the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra rather than picking something that is the OnePlus smartphone. Might be a good value, but if you're trading in a smartphone, I think so Samsung does give you a better value in comparison to what you have from the OnePlus of the world. And that was the main point of this video, and that is not again a direct attack to the OnePlus smartphones, because this is just a reference point that what I was getting down in my videos. But in my opinion, OnePlus smartphones are also one of the best ones in the market. But if I compare that one device with the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, I think so that the AI features are especially the ones that are a very good value on this smartphone. And also, just for a fun fact, the generative edit feature on the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, especially the eraser part of this thing, is just awesome. And you can even erase your wife from a photograph, just saying as a tip if you want to, but something that you should not try. And it should just come with all the disclaimers that you might be beaten by your wife as well if you try to do so. Well, with that said, that was all that what I wanted to share about in this video. I think so that the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra is a very good device, and instead of being a parrot, just try to use this device and be a better judge, because this is a device that is really meant for the mass market, and this is the one that I do really recommend. That was all about this video. My name is Anshul. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.